Okay, this is method 1 for when you're combining like terms that have fraction coefficients. So notice we have 4/3 x plus 1/3 x equals 10/3. And notice I said 1, because that's definitely what number's floating there. So this is a method where you're just going to go ahead and combine your like terms. You just have to make sure you find a common denominator if there isn't already one. The nice thing about this problem here is that all the denominators are 3. When you're putting the x's together, that's the only denominator that we're really focused in on. So this is really the same thing as saying 4/3 x and 1/3 x, or 4x over 3 and 1x over 3, or x over 3. So since they have a common denominator, just like you would add 4/3 plus 1/3 and get 5/3, when we add 4/3 plus 1/3, 4/3 x plus 1/3 x, it's 5/3 x equals 10/30. From this point, you can go ahead and we want to turn this coefficient, now that our x's are together, into 1. So we multiply by 3/5 on both sides. And that gives us 15 over 15, which is 1. X equals, we can go ahead and cross simplify here. That would turn into a 1, 3 over 3. Cross simplify here, that would turn into a 1 and a 2. So we end up with 1x equals 2, or x equals 2, just like the multiplicative identity property. So that works really nicely when you have the same denominator. On the second example, we have different denominators. So we're going to still go ahead and combine these two x's together. But just like you would do if you did 2/5 minus 7/10, that's a 7, we're going to have to find a common denominator here. So our common denominator of 5 and 10 is 10. So if we multiply this by 2 over 2, we end up with 4x over 10 minus 7x over 10 equals 2/5. And we don't actually have to find a common denominator for the last one, but it wouldn't matter if we did. We could easily change that to 4/10 as well. So once we get to this point, 4x minus 7x is 3x, so 4/10x minus 7/10 would be negative 3x over 10, or negative 3/10x equals 2/5, and then we would just multiply by the reciprocal again, so that would be 10 over negative 3. And this would be negative 30 over negative 30x, so that would just be 1x equals, and then these could cross simplify to 2 and 1, so that would be negative 4/3, or negative 4/3, or 4 over negative 3. All of those answers are equivalent. Usually we see the final answer where we kind of pull the negative out front. So this is the first method, just going ahead and find common denominator and then combining our terms together.